Sheriff Hardwick in studio this morning.
Good
Officially,
morning.
good morning to you.
Morning to you.
How you been, sir?
Good. Appreciate you. Just a lot going on in our little county here. As kids go back to school,
There
just a lot
is,
going
yeah.
on. Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
heading back home from vacation and,
Yeah.
of course, election time and a lot going on.
Yeah. A lot going on in your life.
Yes.
I know you don't sleep much anyway, but
No.
geez, you must be getting no sleep right
Thank
now.
God I don't drink anymore either. My goodness gracious. Yes,
You stay hydrated.
Yeah, we would have been out late last night. That's 4. Yeah. My treat last night if I was a drinker. Not
Okay.
anymore.
All right.
Yeah.
You mentioned school starts Monday.
Yes,
What do
yeah,
we need to
Monday.
know for school starting?
First of all, there's, sometimes the numbers are a little bit skewed, but, 52,000 kids are returning to public schools just in St. Johns County alone on Monday. But we have 2 brand new schools opening too. We need to make sure we pay attention to. So Trout Creek is opening, which is off 16A.
Right.
If you're heading towards, of course, the Shands Bridge area out there towards the backside of Rivertown. And then also too, Lakeside is opening, which is off of County Road 210, right across from Beach Walk. And the reason why we're putting a lot of information out about those is just because we know traffic patterns are going to change, substantially on Monday morning. And we just ask people that, first of all, you're back planning. The schools are out, or schools are in session on Monday. So your bicycles are out, your walkers are out. Of course, your school buses are out everywhere. You got new parents that are driving their kids to different schools for the first time. And then you got brand new schools like we just talked about. So we ask you to be patient. We try to let certain things work themselves out over the next 2 weeks and just give it time to kind of see what we can do better with the school district to make things just move a little bit more smoothly. So
tweak the drop-offs and
yeah,
stuff like that.
especially on
Always a little
16A.
bit changing.
Yeah, and what they're putting out on 16A, the school district, is you can make a right-hand turn if you're heading westbound, but you cannot make a left-hand turn if you're heading eastbound on 16A.
Right.
So we got to work through those issues as the infrastructure, of course, improves itself over there. So anyways, just a lot going on. We're adding 2 brand new canines this year to our schools.
Oh, great.
They're going to be narcotics dogs, and they're going to smell gunmetal. So that's
Cool.
a new
Okay.
addition to our schools
Nice.
this year. Of course, we have our new threat assessment deputy sheriffs. They're now in their 2nd full year. They're just doing threat assessments and nothing else for the entire school district. And then also, too, of course, we had our first full year of Strategics last year, which is the silent alert system that we actually have in place with the school district, where any of the 6,000 plus employees can actually push their Strategics and alert the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office with no time delay and give their GPS location too. So just a lot going on in St. Johns County. So we ask you just be prepared to prepare wisely, go to school with plenty of time. And then also too, we're asking these parents to drive the route, or if they're riding bicycles, ride the route with your children before school starts. So maybe over the weekend, just ride that route and kind of educate your kids on, the safe way to get there. So to and from. So
Smart idea.
Yeah, and also too, our school crossing guards are amazing. We have just under 70 of those. They'll be out at 98 locations across posts across St. Johns County, getting just thousands of kids to and from school. So they're amazing. We just want to give them a shout out, and we appreciate them too as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
big day
definitely.
coming up. Yeah,
I don't know if you know the answer to this. Is St. Johns County School District the largest employer in St. Johns County now?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It
So,
sure is. Yeah. I think
just
they're
the
around
way we're
6.
growing with schools and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they're the
it
largest
just seems
employer.
Like they would be.
Yep. They're the largest employer. Then of course St. Johns County, not us, is next. The Board of County Commissioners, and I think Grumman's right behind them, and we're not too far behind.
Yeah.
And I know the traffic patterns up in that area get really bottlenecked. And I know they strategically did some start times that are different. So if
did.
everybody wants to see that, head to the St. Johns County School District page. It's right there at the top,
Yep.
and everybody can see like what the start times are for their specific areas. Because some things in Nocatee don't start till 8:40.
Yep.
Where some things down here will start at 7:30. So you really got to check on what school you're going to.
So glad you said that too as well, because everybody thinks there's a generic time where the elementary starts, the middle school starts, and the high school starts. That's not correct. There's elementary, there's K through 8, there's middle schools, there's high schools, and then there's also staggered times because these schools are so close together in location.
Buses.
Yeah, and the buses, of course, are running too. So please, like Davey said, check out the St. Johns County School District website, because it's not a generic time that all these schools start. So you're really not. It's not going to be good to travel around St. Johns County on Monday between about 7 o'clock and about 9 o'clock as we get this first day of school worked out.
Yeah.
And I know school safety has been a top priority for you since you took over as sheriff.
Sure.
And it sounds like with everything you've implemented over the last few years, sounds like we're in good shape going into the school year.
I think we are too. We're not, safe proof. I hate to say that, or fail proof.
course.
I think we're a little more vigilant, based on technology based policing. We did enter a new contract with a brand new license plate reader system about a year and a half ago called Flock. When we sat down with Flock, we actually strategically located these license plate readers around every one of our schools in St. Johns County. We also have deputy sheriffs at a lot of our charter schools and also to some of our private schools too as well. So just we challenge the parents and the kids, get to know your youth resource deputy sheriff. You should know them by name. We tell them, of course, to be visible. They did a lot of training over the summertime at Freedom Crossing, at Bartram and Tecoy Creek. So we just ask you to get to know that youth resource deputy sheriff. And if you're asking why your deputy's not outside directing traffic, that's not their job. Their job is to contain that school before opening and after closing. So again, we want them in the school, visible to our parents and our children, so and our staff too as well. So we've put a lot of investment into our schools over the last 2 years for safety and security. And of course, it's post, 2018, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And some of the stuff like Alyssa's Law was forced on us, but for good reasons, by the way. And of course, Alyssa's Law for us is Centegix. And Alyssa was murdered, of course, at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. She was a freshman there. So anyways, I think we're doing a lot of good things. We always tell you too, if you see something suspicious, say something to us. Call our system or call our 911 system. Our helicopters can be up a lot more this year during the closing and opening and school times too. With now we have more pilots, which is
that's
great.
Awesome.
Sure, and once our new helicopter course gets here and we get rid of this 1969, it'll be up even more. The 1969, it's time to retire.
Literally a Vietnam War helicopter, wasn't it?
They did the research on it, of course, by the actual tail number on there and the actual, basically like their version of a VIN number on there. That thing was actually in Vietnam.
That's crazy.
No way.
That's
yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Well, back in the day, we basically through the 1033 program, the government gave us X amount of helicopters and parts, and then our mechanics magically appeared basically made 1968 helicopter, 1969 helicopter, which we still have. The two previous ones have since perished, if you remember. One actually lost total fuel malfunction and crashed into TPC about 5, maybe 6 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
That was Matt Bellamy, who was the pilot that landed it, little bumped up. Stacy Attell was the passenger.
Yikes.
And then probably about 5 or 6 years prior to that, another of the old Vietnam Air helicopters had a right here. Troy said, came up over the sheriff's office over headquarters, lost total fuel malfunction. Mark Sham was the pilot. BJ Hall was the co-pilot. They put the thing back down in front of the Wise Potato Chip Factory and walked out of there, but again, bumped and bruised up. So we got to get rid of this helicopter and get our pilots. And this community deserves something better, by the way.
We can't wait till these just die.
No.
There was a part of the helicopter that came off and hit a van.
One of our crime scene vans. It was part of the prop.
The prop went through the side of the crime scene van.
Those are single propellers, as opposed to our new helicopter will have 4. So it's a big difference, of course, too. But of course, our people in St. Johns County deserve the best equipment to protect and serve them, and we're going to have it soon.
So then, can you comment on the use of drones then versus the use of a helicopter?
Yeah.
What's the use of a helicopter more so than using drones over schools or whatever?
Sure.
What's the benefit there?
It's a big difference, actually. They got 2 different roles, which is kind of crazy. That drone kind of operates at that 300-foot level and below kind of thing. And, of course, the helicopter is the opposite way up. With the drones, of course, that's immediate. We do it all the time, actually. So right now in St. Johns County, the goal is to have a drone and a drone pilot in the North region, the Central region, and the South region. And for some reason, that drone pilot's not available. We have a great partnership with St. Johns County Fire Rescue with Chief McGee and his crew over there, who also have some drone pilots. So the goal of that drone is to get up. And let's talk real quick about just last week. We had a dementia person that actually wandered off behind her house up in northern St. Johns County, and we found her on a wood line. The drone was immediately deployed for that quick rapid response, but then the helicopter's up looking from that 1,000-foot view. As opposed to the drone is more, dedicated to the areas where it can't it's got a small, just a smaller capacity. And then you have human eyes. The human eyes, of course, you have a pilot flying, and you have a secondary person, whether it's a co-pilot or a tactical flight officer, in there physically looking through the cameras, using that technology-based stuff, whether it's IR, whether it's heat sinking. So it's 2 separate missions. And then the other thing too, of course, the helicopter, the goal is to back up our deputy sheriffs, get quicker on top of the scenes where we can secure them, just because simple fact is we just can't move around St. Johns County as quick as we used to based on just traffic. So again, just 2 separate missions. They really don't go hand in hand. One's kind of that quick response, that immediate response, and the helicopter is looking for that, that 30,000-foot view, but 1,000-foot view basically.
Yeah. And I can just tell you, as somebody who flies drones for work,
sure,
the drone has like a 20 to 30 minute battery life.
Whoa.
And that's it. And then it's gone. And your drone can't fly more than a few miles away from the operator. So if there's a chase, obviously it's a helicopter, hands down. That you have to.
And don't forget though, and you are a drone operator, but don't forget, our restrictions are much more stricter on law enforcement side. We can't lose eyesight of it. We can't go, but ours is very, very strict on how we can use the drones. We're regulated by law, as opposed to basically a civilian using a drone doesn't have as many laws. Their hands are tied. Our hands are tied. Theirs are not. So again, two separate operations, but also too, like our night vision and our IR infrared, it'll wear down the battery even quicker on there. So let's say it's a nighttime mission on there. That helicopter can stay up for hour, if not more.
Wow.
I remember at Florida Man games, the drone operator landed his in the tree.
Who was that?
I don't know who you're talking about.
That was me.
I was trying to let you off the hook, Rick.
Full responsibility.
Rick, we love confessions, brother. We love confessions, Rick.
I go hard for the job, and I'll get in the hard to get spots that the others can't.
That's right.
Boy.
You had to climb up in that tree to get it out of there, I think.
Got it back. I got the footage and everything.
You got it back.
Anything else you want to confess to while we're here today?
Off air.
Yeah, so just two separate missions, but so totally essential now to what we do every day.
Yeah.
And we just got a nice size grant to replace a lot of our DJI, ones that were actually the governor actually signed off because they're made in China. So we just got a big grant to replace a lot of those too with American made stuff. Yep.
Interesting.
So we'll have even more drones out there. Yep.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks for asking.
You guys had a recent canine retirement, didn't you? Did I see something about this?
Yeah. Canine Judge, he's been a special dog, almost like a therapy dog, but Canine Judge actually was born in Slovakia in 2015.
Oh, wow.
June 12, 2015. And then he came into service in America with our handler, which is Scott Wright, in 2016. 2015 born, 2016 in December, he came into service here and was certified in 13 different imprints. And those 13 different imprints, of course, were different types of basically explosive ordinances that that dog actually could smell and detect. Had a great career. He's done a lot of federal missions with United States Secret Service, FBI, ATF. He's worked Jaguar games. He's worked college games, high school games. He's worked at NASCAR down in. So he's got basically the human version of ALS. So as he's now, he's getting close to the end of his cycle of life, but he's also, has the like I said, the human version of ALS. Wow. He's just a special animal. So Scott Wright will get another bomb dog. Actually, he's heading to bomb school. We've done something different with him. So it only makes sense if a bomb dog handler is bomb trained, then we kind of kill two birds with one stone, per se.
Right, yeah. So
Scott Wright's heading off to bomb school, and then when he comes back, he'll get him a new bomb dog. But Judge is going to retire at home. He's just it's a special dog too. He looks just like the meanest dog ever. He's a beautiful, he's actually a German Shepherd from Slovakia, but he is the most kindless, gentle dog, and really become my little therapy dog. But he's just so approachable. So he's retiring, and Scott Wright is going to continue to work canine. So.
That's awesome.
Special day, yeah. Smart Paws was so good to us. They made a cake for him, and those,
that's so fun.
They're so amazing down there. But
they are amazing.
They are great people and great partnership with us.
Yeah. Very
Blessed.
cool. Very cool. Your DUI unit was also. Were you guys recently honored down there in Fort Myers?
Yeah. So every year the Mothers Against Drunk Driving has a banquet. It used to be at Fort Lauderdale. Now it's at Fort Myers. Kind of moves around the state. It was a packed house down there. Kendall and I was honored too, as well as, being, of course, supporting basically impaired driving. And our unit some of our DUI members on there have over 1,000 DUIs in their career. Some came from like other counties, but they have over 1,000 DUIs. But they recognize there was probably a full house over 1,000 people down there in Fort Myers. And we are recognized, yes. And some of our deputies, too, are recognized for if you exceed 100 DUIs in a year, MAD actually honors you. And then they always have some impact statements that get up on stage and tell about how their lives were taken, their children were taken from them. It was a great ceremony. Kendall and I physically haul butt down there and haul butt back. But our men and women of our DUI unit, every one of our DUI people are also drug recognition experts. So the old school days that we always heard about, DUI, it's, drinking alcohol and driving. It's way beyond that now.
Sure. Yeah.
It's impairment from illegal narcotics, prescription narcotics, legal narcotics, sleep deprivation. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on with impaired driving. When you simply, when you see a DUI in our jail, it's kind of misconstrued a little bit. That person might not be a drinker at all. It might be impaired by something else that is, basically, their ability to go ahead and think, they're operating a motor vehicle on there too as well. But there's something, that DUI unit has done is, they have decreased serious bodily injury and death in St. Johns County by 15%. It's unheard of across the nation. And as you know, as our population continues to grow by 43%, I think, over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
We're not out there. This isn't a stat-driven thing. This is getting people off the road that are saving lives. In the old days of you got a DUI, almost like the rest of your career, you're like looked down upon. Well, those days are over with. People make mistakes in life. I mean, and with that, but said we help them get back on their feet. But the key is that you're watching the sentences right now on DUI with serious bodily injury, including or to include death. It's 15 years in prison. You're talking about a person that's not a criminal. You're talking about a person that makes a mistake in life, gets behind the wheel, and then, whatever dozes off or just makes a judgment based on their impairment, and it takes an innocent family or innocent life, and then the courts are sentencing them around 15 years. So we'd rather you spend 2 or 3 hours in our jail. You get out, it usually gets pled down to a reckless driving. We're not there to hammer you. We're there to get you off the roads and hopefully get you back on your feet and do the right thing. So listen, we've all been there. I haven't drank in almost 14 years, but we've all been there, made mistakes in life. But those times you make it home time and time again, you get lucky. And there's eventually a time where you don't make it home and you ultimately pay the sacrifice. So we're just trying to educate. There's no reason now, there's so many other ways to get home. Like, we didn't have those ways when I was younger, When I was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, you gambled the dice and drove. I mean, you just did, because there's no other ways to get, the cabs are so nasty. But anyways, now there's so many ways to get home with this, social media platforms out there with Ubers and Lyfts and cabs and friends and all that stuff.
Just having the availability. I mean, you'd have to do a payphone. Anybody know the number?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
True.
The availability is there. I mean, and everybody's got somebody that'll come get you.
By far, yeah.
Even if you're didn't want to pay for an Uber.
Yeah,
everybody's
totally
got
agree.
somebody that'll come get you.
And I'm embarrassed, since I've been your sheriff. We've had some employees that have, been arrested, and of course they lose their job, but also too, I help them get jobs somewhere else usually.
Yeah, but they didn't lose their life.
They didn't lose their life, or
right?
take
And
somebody
nobody
else's
else
life.
did.
There you go. Yeah, that's all. So they got recognized. They get recognized every year. But there was cops and troopers and deputies from every agency across the state of Florida there to not just receive the awards, but honor MAD for what they do too as well. And that's a bunch of families that have actually lost loved ones. So it's a special place down there when we go to that every year.